during World War I, and not a single German spy was prosecuted under it. Instead, thousands of Americans like Eugene Debs and Big Bill Haywood, who did not think we should be in a bloody and pointless European war that may have been extremely profitable to the war profiteers and the arm manufacturers and the captains of industry, but came at a heavy cost that was paid by the working class. Those people were in jail. Their prosecution so enraged the public, we had a movement like never before for freedom of speech that redefined free speech itself and turned the First Amendment for more than just words on a piece of paper. Unfortunately, in spite of those fantastic victories, 100 years later, we still have unfinished business with the Espionage Act. And I also want to be clear that there is silenced and chilled opposition to U.S. foreign policy, whistleblowing, and journalism. It was passed during World War I, and not a single German spy was prosecuted under it. Instead, thousands of Americans like Eugene Debs and Big Bill Haywood, who did not think we should be in a bloody and pointless European war that may have been extremely profitable to the war profiteers and the arm manufacturers and the captains of industry, but came at a heavy cost that was paid by the working class. Those people were in jail. Their prosecution so enraged the public, we had a movement like never before for freedom of speech that redefined free speech itself and turned the First Amendment for more than just words on a piece of paper. Unfortunately, in spite of those fantastic victories, 100 years later, we still have unfinished business with the Espionage Act. And I also want to be clear that there is clearly a through line between putting Eugene Debs in jail for saying, and this was the quote that landed him in jail, "If war be right, let the people decide," and persecuting Julian Assange, a journalist who believes that if wars can be started on lies, then peace can be brought by truth. Starting with Darrell Hylton, the Espionage Act took on a new purpose, silencing and prosecuting whistleblowers. And the national security state, from as soon as the Pentagon Papers were published, began salivating at the idea of putting away journalists under the Espionage Act. But for decades, that was considered a bridge too far, even by CIA directors and other people who were all willing to use it against whistleblowers. That is until Julian Assange became the first person ever indicted under the Espionage Act for the publishing of truthful information. And we want to make sure he's the last person indicted for publishing truthful information, and that he never stands trial in this country, because if they bring Julian here, it will not just be Assange on trial in the Eastern District, it will be our First Amendment in the docket as well. So we have to make sure the U.S. government...
Maybe except for CRISPR Ray, but I'm not sure. So I was trying to...
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Let me mute this sound real quick. I just wanted to do a live stream, restream this rally in Washington D.C. on my channel. Anybody tuned in, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna put my camera to the back and let the live stream go.
Is the author of 10 books. He's on the USA Today Board of Contributors and has written for the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. He wrote an article in 2019 in the USA Today calling for awarding Julian Assange with the Presidential Medal of Freedom instead of federal indictment. So everybody please welcome James Bovard.
Hey, I want to start by thanking Misty Winston for doing a great job of organizing this protest. She is really, really good. So, there's an old saying that if government makes exposing a crime, then you're being ruled by criminals. Except for Joe Biden. And except for Merrick Garland here. Maybe except for CRISPR Ray, but I'm not sure. So, I was trying to make sure I got those caveats added to my dossier. Yep. So did everybody here get the official informant bingo game bingo card? So we keep track of the informants? No. Okay. I'll draw the curtain on that. 4 years ago, I did a piece for USA Today that said that instead of an indictment, Julian Assange should get a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Now, I don't trust presidents, and I don't trust presidents that give medals of freedom to people like Robert McNamara, but I'll make an exception in Julian's case. Julian said if wars can be started by lies, they can be stopped by truth. He's facing 17 counts of the Espionage Act for exposing war crimes that were committed by U.S. forces in Afghanistan and Iraq. The Christian Science Monitor said that the reaction of Congress was to Julian Assange's message was to shoot the messenger. But the Taliban did not buy into the cover-up. And as we saw last year, the American troops were unpopular in Afghanistan. The puppet government collapsed. Congress had no reason not to know. Julian Assange and WikiLeaks showed them 12 years ago that the war was not going to be won, but they kept going. So 3 years ago, back when Britain arrested Julian Assange for the U.S. government, Senator Joe Manchin said, Julian Assange is our property, and now we can get the facts and truth from him. Unfortunately, Manchin has no recommendations on how we can get the facts and the truth from the federal government right now. Okay, so Biden has ramped up U.S. bombings in Somalia. Who exactly are we killing and why? It's a secret. Question, is U.S. government is still financing Syrian terrorist groups that are slaughtering Syrian civilians? What are the details? It's a secret. Why is the U.S. still bankrolling Saudi atrocities in Yemen? It's a secret. And then there's the biggest and most dangerous secret on the horizon right now, U.S. intervention in the Russia-Ukraine war. We have no idea how far that the U.S. has gone and what kind of actions U.S. might have taken. It's possible there are Pentagon and CIA officials who are trying to who are warning, but those warnings are being ignored, and it might be that we don't find out about it until it's too late. So the Justice Department stresses that Julian exposed classified information. People in D.C. talk about classified information like it's a holy relic that cannot be exposed without damning the nation. How much classified info do the feds have? They make trillions of pages of it per year. That's part of the reason we have little or no idea what the U.S. government foreign policy is right now, because there is an iron curtain that has fallen about this. And this helps explain why there's so little trust in Washington now. Americans today are more likely to believe in witches, ghosts, and astrology than to trust the federal government. We need more hellraisers like Julian Assange to save democracy from the deep state, from big government, and from both political parties. Hopefully we can get him out there, get him out of prison as soon as possible, and thanks for coming to this event.
Thank you, Mr. Bovard. All right. Next, we know him as a political analyst and progressive radio talk show host. Garland Nixon has served on the board of the ACLU National Board and appeared on multiple TV and radio programs, and my favorite one to watch on Rockfin. Please welcome Garland Nixon.
Hello, hello. And a special hello to my favorite person who's here, Medea Benjamin. Love Medea Benjamin. Yay, let's hear it for Medea. So, I didn't really have a plan, but on the way over here, a friend of mine, I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone, and I was getting, why are you doing that? The empire's too powerful, you're not going to get anywhere, blah, blah, blah. And I thought about this very short story. It's a good story. I made it up. So there's a guy at the dock. He's standing on the dock, and he's pushing against this aircraft carrier. And somebody walks up to him, and they're like, what are you doing that for? You're wasting your time. You will never move that aircraft carrier. And he says, well, it's a hobby. It's just what I do. I'm a pusher of aircraft carriers. I do it because I enjoy doing it. Whether it moves or not, I'm going to keep doing it. here's my point, because a special hello also to the people, those who are in the national security, enforcement agencies who are here. You know who you are. I just want to say hi and thanks for helping build up the crowd a little bit. But my point is this: when it comes to this, don't get frustrated. That's what we have to be when it comes to activism. I want to be the person to say to everyone, you don't know if it's going to work, if it's not going to work. Don't be the angry activist. Enjoy your activism. Do it because it's who you are and it's what you do. As a black person, I always think back like to W.E.B. Du Bois, to people in 1900 and 1910 who had no chance that in their lifetime they would achieve what they wanted. But they did it because it was who they are. So to those in the national security state who are here trying to figure a way that they can turn down the volume on this thing, it's not going to happen. We're going to continue to do this. We're going to stand for Julian Assange because it's who we are, it's what we do, and we're not going to stop, and we're going to enjoy the fight. Thank you.
Everybody give it up for Garland Nixon. Thank you, Garland. Okay. I'm personally pretty pumped about being able to introduce our next speaker. She, I think, came from the womb and was immediately in the streets. She is a minister, a Black Panther. She was instrumental to the Poor People's Campaign and is well known for her work as a grassroots community activist for welfare, housing, and healthcare rights. Everybody, please give it up for the legend herself, Reverend Annie Chambers.
Hello. I'm so glad to be here with you today and to speak on what we used to call in the Panthers a true soldier. Julius Assange was a true soldier. He's a soldier. See, everybody put on a uniform ain't a soldier. But he's told the truth. And he's been prosecuted for the truth. He's been prosecuted. And doing this, when I, was about to speak, know I was coming, I had to pray. My prayers. Because I've been praying for him ever since they incarcerated him. Along with a lot of other of us, he's incarcerated unjustly. But look where we are. We're in America. A country that was stolen on lies. A country where people with class, as I was explaining to some of my colleagues and one of my sons and my husband coming over here when they talk of what they call class. Class is money. That's all it is. So, we're in a country that thrives on greed and the viciousness. And when he told the truth about us going other countries, oppressing other people, stealing wealth from other people in other countries, he had to be stopped. That's what they think they can do. But I prayed on this, as I said, and I asked God to give me some clarity. As a minister and a woman of God, because I haven't always been. I haven't always been. But he gives me good clarity. And I picked up the Bible and I seen Paul and Silas, and I read about them. They refused to bear down. They refused to bear down. Julius refused to bear down. He's not bearing down. I know that he's suffering, and I know that he's being tortured, and he's being abused. But we must understand there's still a higher power. I have belief in this power. I know that this power works because it brought me through. And it's brought a lot of other, my comrades, through. And we have to understand that while we have to fight this battle, and I say it all the time, whenever I speak into my family, I may not see it in my lifetime. I'm 81 years old. I may not see it in my lifetime, but y'all know that I made a mark. I'm going to be fighting. That's what I tell them. But you remember the Roman Empire? Biggest empire in the world. Thought they could conquer the world. But it was not done. It was not so. That's what America think they are. The greed here in America is so greedy, they think that they can conquer the world, that they can control the whole world. Well, I'm here to tell you that it is not true, America. The Holy Spirit has showed me. America, do you see how we are divided? Even, you know, you got this group and that group. And I'm talking about the political parties. I just want to say the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the everybody's party, but we don't have togetherness party. We don't have a togetherness. And American people, we gotta oppress somebody else. Why they coming to our country? I said, ain't yours, and why the hell you come here? Why you come here? It wasn't yours either. Well, they come here getting my job. It wasn't your job in the first place. You understand? So we have to be able to fight against oppression in America and fight for change. That is my whole goal, is to fight for change and oppression in America. But I want Julius to know, I may not never get to meet him or see him, but I want him to know, if ever there's a message getting to him, that I pray for him every night, because that's my faith. That's my faith. That's my belief. I know that he's going to come out victorious. He's going to win. All we got to do is to keep him out of the hellhole worse than he's in, and that's America. Keep Julius out of America. When we do that, we got to fight here in America and say no oppression, no for none of us. But we got to fight for Julius Assange. And I want him to know, and his family, and all of y'all to know that every night I pray. Every day I wake up saying, Lord, please bless and keep him. We know that he's suffering. Because who stays in isolation that don't suffer? I got some Black Panther brothers and sisters can tell you about how they stayed in isolation and the abuse that they did to us while we was in prison. So just imagine that 10 times over for him. But keep him out of America. I said to you today, not today, not tomorrow, not ever, they should be able to put his feet on this hellhole of a soil called America. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Annie. That was amazing. We are so with you. Next, I'd like to introduce Spike Cohen, Libertarian candidate for VP in 2020. He has been outspoken voice for freeing Julian Assange and defending independent journalism. Spike, please make your way.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I'd also like to give a quick shout out to the corporate media who didn't send a single outlet to cover the fact that there are hundreds of people from across the country of every walk of life across the entire political spectrum, all here calling for the same thing, to free Julian Assange. And it would make sense that they're not here, because if it was up to them, we wouldn't have known about the human rights abuses and outright murder of civilians that happened in Iraq and in Afghanistan. We wouldn't have known about the torture of detainees who've never seen trial in Guantanamo Bay. We wouldn't have known about Hillary Clinton and the DNC rigging the 2016 primary to make sure she won. We wouldn't have known about all of the things that we only know because Julian Assange and WikiLeaks released it to us. So it makes perfect sense that the corporate media and the government are in lockstep with each other to make sure that this man is being tried for espionage. Let's be clear, what Julian Assange did is called, and hear me out, journalism. What he did was what all of the people who aren't bothered to be here right now should be doing, receiving information and giving it to the public, not putting a corporate spin on it, not editorializing it to death, not censoring it because they don't think it fits their narrative, but giving it to you so you can decide for yourself. Julian Assange and WikiLeaks and all of the free independent media that are here, they are the only thing separating you from having absolutely no idea what this government and what this corporate media is doing. They're the only thing that are separating it. Now, the one thing that we keep being told is, well, maybe it was journalism, but if you think about it, the information that Julian released was a threat and was helping these foreign dictatorships, our enemies, these dictatorships. Well, let's take a look at what these dictatorships are doing. Brutally repressing people in their countries, especially the most marginalized in their countries, destabilizing, bombing, invading their neighbors, and getting away with it with no accountability because they suppress that information from being shown to their public. Does any of that sound familiar? Yeah! It sounds like exactly what's happening here. The fact is, Julian wasn't trying to help dictatorships. He was trying to stop the United States from becoming one. And that's why they want him in jail. And that is why it is crucial that we continue to fight to set Julian free. As our numbers grow, as our voices grow louder, we will continue to fight to free Julian Assange until it happens. And if these monsters won't do it, then we'll vote to replace them with people who will. What do we want? When do we want it? You're damn right.
Everybody give it up for Spike Cohen! Okay, so really quickly, and I'm going to do this without crying, I want to give just a really quick shout out. Earlier this summer, we lost one of our Assange warriors, Eric Levy. He was 94 years young, an amazing activist. I have him here on my button. He's here with us today. So I just wanted to give him a shout out. He was the best of us. So just wanted to bring that up really quick, and I did it without crying. Okay, coming up next, we have one of my favorite independent journalists, Dan Cohen. He's a journalist with Mint Press News and a filmmaker. And his latest film is Another Vision, which is a film about the inside of Haiti's uprising. So everybody, please give it up for Dan Cohen.
Thank you, Misty. I want to give a huge round of applause to all the organizers who put this incredible event together and everybody who came out to stand for Assange today. I want to know, raise your hand if you are a reporter for the New York Times or the Washington Post or the Guardian. Are there any of you out there? No, there's not a single, I don't see any hands. One guy's raising his hand, but I think that's just so he can take a picture. But no, what does that say? That if you are a journalist, you're a reporter, and you are not here defending freedom of speech, defending your ability to speak the truth, it means you're not a journalist. You are a propagandist. That's why none of them are here. And it comes down to regular people, other independent journalists who are not owned by BlackRock, by the mega corporations and financial institutions that dominate our lives. So it comes to us. We are the real resistance in this country. That's right. Yes, exactly. We need to make our voices heard here in the belly of the beast. I mean, think about the importance of Julian Assange, the importance of WikiLeaks in this moment as we are on the press. Assange say about war that every war begins with a lie. And so truth can bring peace. And so let's imagine if we had Cablegate, the massive trove of diplomatic cables that were leaked by WikiLeaks. If we had that right now, what would we know about, let's say, the assassination of Daria Dugina, the U.S. role in that? The U.S. says, oh, we don't know anything about that. We don't know anything about that. But you can imagine what's being said in classified documents. What would we know? What would those documents reveal about the bombing of the Crimea Bridge overnight? That the U.S. doesn't know anything about it. The SBU, the Ukrainian intelligence services, are essentially an extension of the CIA, but we don't know anything about it. What would we learn about the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse last year? That the U.S. We don't know anything about that either, even though they sealed the indictment, essentially what a former DEA chief called telegraphing CIA involvement in the assassination. So the reason they're punishing Julian Assange is not because of what he did as one person. It's because he represents the truth that he and WikiLeaks bring to the people, represents a threat to the most violent and dangerous empire in the history of the world. And I'm inspired to see so many people here today who've come from all around the country to make their voices heard, to refuse to submit, and to fight back. So thank you everyone for coming out.
Give it up for Dan Cohen, and go check out his movies too. Next, I'm going to introduce Bethany DuPont. Please make your way to the podium. She is the author and director of Haiti Liberté, the largest Haitian weekly that is published. We are very welcome to have you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here today to participate to this great demonstration. Haiti need Assange. The workers in Haiti need Assange. Today, the U.S. imperialism is planning to intervene again in Haiti. Right. Haiti need your support. And Haiti need Assange. Friends and comrades, in 2011, WikiLeaks provided Haiti Liberté newspaper with 2,000 pages of classified diplomatic cables, which allow our team to write dozens of articles over the past 11 years about Washington machination in Haiti. We have published articles about the U.S. try to sabotage Venezuela's project to provide cheap gas and loan account to Haiti known as Petro-Caribbean Fund. How it fought effort to raise Haiti minimum wage from $1.75 per day to $5 per day. How it unilaterally deployed U.S. troops into Haiti after January 2000 earthquake. How it integrated coup-making soldiers into Haiti police force. How it approved of deadly assault on Haitian shanty towns. And how it fought tooth and nail for 7 years to stop President Aristide return to Haiti after he was exiled in 2004. We have also used the secret U.S. embassy cables to profile corrupt Haitian politicians like Yoda Torchi and Woody Erivo, expose the Haitian bourgeoisie attempts to turn the Haitian police into a private militia. And reveal that the U.S. official saw the UN military occupation of brutal, political, and ineffective force. Friends and comrades, WikiLeaks has provided 250,000 cable, which part of Chelsea Manning famous cable gate leaked to mainstream media outlets like The Guardian, New York Times, Le Monde, and Der Spiegel. However, these outlets, which are beholden to the respective establishment, did virtually nothing with the revealed documents. That is why Assange and WikiLeaks team undertook the difficult task of securely delivering the cable to IT Liberté in Haiti. They did similar deliveries around the world. It is for this valiant effort to disseminate truth and transparency to the world that Assange is now being held in virtually tortured and Belmarsh prison. It is one of the greatest travesty of justice in our lifetime. The fate of press freedom is in our hands. Let us use all our force to demand work.
Um, Sorry for the inconvenience, folks, but my computer's getting hot doing live stream and trying to run all this at the same time on my computer. I need a better system. But please go over to the was the channel called again? Sorry about the background repeat. I was making sure my stream was going. But India News Network. Go over there and watch their live stream. But for those who tuned in, thanks for tuning in. I got to end the live stream.